Thank you. Good morning. My name is Troy Thompson. I'm the General Conference Chair and also 2015 USAEE President. And I'd like to welcome you to the 33rd Annual USAEE IAEE Conference here in Pittsburgh. Very good. I'm excited about being here. We've got a great venue, and I think that you will definitely enjoy your time in Pittsburgh. I'd like to introduce those that are with me at the table this morning. First off, Peter Hartley with Rice University. Peter is the IAEE President. We also have next to him is Tina Vitale, a Wall Street energy analyst, and she is our conference program chair. And then at the end is Diana Stairs. Diana's with Washington and Jefferson College, and she is our Three Rivers chapter president, who is co-hosting the Pittsburgh conference. So please welcome each of them. The theme of our conference this year is the dynamic energy landscape, and dynamic it definitely is. And if you remember last year when we were in New York in June, oil prices were much different. Brent was $112, so it was a different atmosphere. And I think that is the conference this year, you'll hear a lot about that in terms of the outlook. We've got a great set of speakers to host, talk about different issues that the industry is facing. So I think you will find the program to be very, very good. With having a great program requires a lot of work. And there's several people that I want to recognize this morning that put in a lot of time to ensure a great program. And so I think it's very important to read their names. And so if you will bear with me, I'd like to go through and recognize each and every one of them. I introduced with Tina, but I also like to introduce our concurrent session chair, which is Mina Dion. Case competition chair was Eric Hittinger. Poster session chair, John Holden. Our technical tour coordinators, Julian Lame and Omar Cabreras. Sponsorship committee chair was Carl Nalepa. And then part of our program committee, Peter Baelish, Jerry Fletcher, Peter Hartley, Paulina Germilio, Fred Jutes, Julian Lame, Ken Medlock, Peter Kobos, Ben Schlesinger, Deborah Sturzing, Emar Sturzing, Renee Ussel, David Knapp, Christopher Nichols, Laura Schell, Arnie Baker, Seth Bloomsack, Sonia Carley, Matt King, Shree Vickers, Tom Drennan, and Jared Anderson. Those represented our program committee. And then our student program chair this year was Derek Nixon. And then I also want to definitely recognize Dave Williams and his team for all of their work in putting this program together. So please, let's give them each a round. Also with a program that requires a monetary support. And we are very fortunate to have some great sponsors of this conference. And I also want to recognize them, and I encourage you, as you see representatives from these companies, that you will reach out to them and thank them for their sponsorship for this year. This year's sponsors were API, Aramco Services, Ben Schlesinger and Associates, Robert Eric Borgstrom, BP, Breaking Energy, Colorado School of Mines, ConocoPhillips, EPRI, ERDF, ExxonMobil, the Global Association of Risk Professionals, Natural Gas Partners, Enroll, Penn State University, Resolve Energy Consulting, Rice University's Baker Institute for Public Policy, Shell Energy North America, U.S. Department of Energy's NETL, Washington and Jefferson College, and Williams. Again, I think that also deserves a round of applause. And again, I encourage you to thank each and every one of them for their sponsorship. Well, last night we had a great evening. We kicked off with a great reception. We had our student mentoring session, which I thought went very well, and also our case competition. And I appreciate all of those that participated in that. I very much enjoyed the evening. And we'll find out more about the results of our awards ceremony later in the conference. One of the things in the conference program is that you will see a map, okay? And this lays out in terms of where each of all the plenary sessions, concurrent sessions will be. One of the things that I want to stress is for you to look at that, and also we very much want you to be safe and aware of your safety in the hotel. The hotel staff have told us there are not any planned fire drills or any type of drill. So if there is, it's going to be the real thing, okay? And so the hotel, there'll be announcements over the PA. They will direct us what to do, and if we do need to evacuate the hotel, we're going to go out the front doors, down the stairs, out the front doors, and over here across into the park. So I don't think that's going to be necessary, but I want you to be aware in case. At this year's conference, we have, Dave told me today, we have 326 registered. Roughly 92 of those are students, and I think that's a great number. One of the things that I want you to do, that a personal ask, is to reach out and meet the students. And there's some very special people. Each of you are very special, but there's some very special people that have a green dot on their name tag. And those are students that are currently looking for a job opportunity. So they're finishing their studies, and so I want you to be aware of them, reach out and talk to them. If you do have opportunities, make them aware. Also at this conference, we have 91 newcomers, and 38 of those are students. And so I think that's an excellent number. Roughly, also at the conference, we have a third are from outside the U.S. And I think that's a fantastic number. For those, we have a variety of countries that are represented, but the two that currently have the most representation are delegates from Canada and also France. So welcome to each one of you. That concludes in terms of my remarks. Again, welcome to Pittsburgh. I look forward to interacting with each and every one of you. And I'd like to introduce Peter Hartley, President of IAEE, to make some remarks. Pete?
Thank you very much, Troy. On behalf of the International Association for Energy Economics, I want to thank the US Association very much for putting on this wonderful conference in Pittsburgh. The USAEE has a very smooth process for organising these conferences. Lots of people involved, as Troy mentioned, and it goes very smoothly. And of course, as Troy also mentioned, that is helped greatly by the professional conference management services of Dave Williams' team at AMS. So they always do a wonderful job, and I can tell you, trying to organise a conference outside of the United States, how much difference I can see Dave makes to organising the ones here. Some highlights of the program I noticed, on the oil and gas side, of course, there's going to be a very strong emphasis on the energy renaissance in North America. There's a whole lot of discussion too of new electricity technologies and electricity markets. And there's also a number of sessions here on risk management and energy finance. And in that regard, I'd like to emphasise to you, it's coming up on the screen here actually, but We have this association with GARP, the Global Association of Risk Professionals, that Troy mentioned. But I'd like to mention to you the next international conference for the IAEE, which is going to be held in Bergen, Norway. And the focus of the program actually is energy expectations and uncertainty. So there's going to be a whole lot of sessions really focusing on these kind of risk issues, business strategies for making decisions under uncertainty. And we certainly need that in the oil industry right now. Commodity and financial derivatives markets for energy, effects of uncertainty on long-term contracts versus spot trading, energy risk assessment methods, and so on. So I think there's a great program there, and we have any people here from GARP who are looking to upgrade their professional qualifications with respect to risk management. The Bergen conference, I guess, is tailor-made for you. I'm also going to put on my another hat I have, which was mentioned. I was a professor at Rice University. I'm also right now a BHP Billiton Professor of Economics at the University of Western Australia. And the next Asian conference, the 5th Asian conference, is going to be held in Perth. It also comes up on the screen, February 14 to 17 of 2016. And the focus is on meeting Asia's energy challenges. And even though Chinese growth has dropped, I guess, slightly below 7%, it's still 7%, still pretty healthy economic growth rate. And we also have India starting to grow a bit faster, and a lot of people don't recognise Southeast Asia. You've got about 600 million people also starting to grow faster. So you know, we think over the coming decades, it's still going to be a tremendous increase in energy demand in Asia. And that raises all sorts of questions about where it's going to come from, where it's going to be produced, how it's going to be traded, the infrastructure that needs to be built. Indonesia, for example, has a program to add 35 gigawatts of generating capacity to its electricity system. So a lot of these issues are going to be discussed in Perth. And for those of you from the Northern Hemisphere, February in Perth is summertime, lots of nice beaches. Get out of the snow and come down and have your summer holiday in Perth. Another conference, IAEE conference I'd like to mention, this is a new one for the association. We are going to have a conference in Azerbaijan, in Baku, Azerbaijan, in August 28 to 31, 2016. And this is perhaps a prelude to forming a Eurasia chapter of the IAEE. The focus is on energy economics emerging from the Caspian region, challenges and opportunities. There's going to be discussions of oil and gas, price dynamics, but also things like regional energy security, regional strategies, and unlocking Caspian energy demand. And we'll cover petroleum economics, geopolitics of energy, energy markets and regulation, regional energy markets in Central Asia, regional electricity trade, and many other issues. So there's another interesting opportunity for those of you who have not been to that part of the world. I understand it's actually very, very beautiful, and quite an interesting opportunity. Of course, later in 2016, we have the next USAEE conference. It's going to be held in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the topic is implications of North American energy self-sufficiency. So the theme of the energy renaissance in North America will be carried on in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Where we're discussing perhaps oil or oil product exports, implications for world energy markets, substitution towards natural gas, and many other opportunities. And John Ripple's the organiser, I see him sitting in the audience. He's also organising some trips. So if you've ever wanted to go and see what Cushing, Oklahoma looks like, Ron's organising a trip there for us. Before I leave the subject of conferences, as President of the IAEE this year, I would like to thank very much the Turkish Association for Energy Economics for hosting a very successful international conference in Antalya, and also the Latin American Association for Energy Economics for hosting the Latin American Conference in Medellin, Colombia. I also take this opportunity to mention we have a few new IAEE affiliates, one in Slovenia, one in Portugal, one in Ghana. We have some new institutional members. We have a new website under development. So particularly the young people have been telling us for some time we need to update our website. So we're spending a lot of money on doing that. The one thing in particular I would like to draw your attention to is the data links project that we've just launched. So we have a part of the website where you can go and find links to energy economics data from around the world. And we'd like you to go and look at that. Give us some feedback. We have tried to make it easy. We want to make this a crowdsourced kind of product. So if you know of any good energy data that we haven't included in the database, please tell us about it. There's a way of doing that on the website. And if there's mistakes in there, please tell us about it and we'll correct them. And there's also a facility there where you can comment on the different data sets and say, this one's really great for such and such and so on. So please take some time to check that out and give us the feedback on it. I'd like to say also, take a few moments to just mention our journals. Those of you noticed who received the Energy Journal in paper copy form or hard copy form will notice we've had some really thick ones. Issues. We've had a lot of submissions to the journal. We've increased the size of a couple of the issues to accommodate the backlog. We're actually going to move, we're going to have a couple of thick issues again next year, then we're going to move to 6 issues a year instead of 4. So it's great. We're really pleased that you've all been submitting your wonderful research to the Energy Journal, and we've got a large number of articles we've got in the pipeline. Finally, I'd like to mention our summer schools. The IAEE started a summer school program, so where we have sort of a more concentrated summer course of maybe a few days to a week on a particular topic, and I was urging yesterday the USAEE to do that, take advantage of that. But there's something else that you can also see on our website and look at the summer school program. Finally, I'd like to introduce Tina Vital, who's an analyst from New York in the energy industry, and she's also program chair. Say a few words. Thank you.
We'd like to thank the program committee in general for their wonderful help and organization for this conference. The members' names are listed in the final program. Special thanks to API for sponsoring the Range Resources Marcellus Gas Tour. Special thanks to EverPower for sponsoring the EverPower Wind Farm Tour. And one of the highlights of this conference will be our keynote lunch speaker, Professor David Hanshaw, who's the David M. Roderick Professor of Technology and Social Change at Carnegie Mellon University. We encourage you to attend David's keynote, which will be 2 centuries of energy transformation in the Pittsburgh region. If you've never heard David speak before, it's a real treat. He's quite entertaining and an expert on technology and social change. The program's planetary sessions have been planned to balance a variety of topics around the dynamic energy landscape, from renewables to shale oil and gas production, which is driving a U.S. industrial resurgence in the need for energy infrastructure, to electricity markets, the future of coal, to environmental concerns of climate change and water handling, and last but not least, geopolitics and a discussion of the recent collapse in commodity prices, implications, and what may lie ahead. We would like to thank the planetary session presiders, Benjamin Schlesinger, Julian Lamy, Ken Matlock, Bill Furlow, Minnie Yucca, Gerald Fletcher, Gerald Anderson, Steve Bozart, Chris Nichols, and last but not least, David Knapp. There are still seats available to attend a special workshop on carbon capture, utilization, and storage, which will be held on Wednesday from 2 to 5. If you're interested, please stop by the registration desk and sign up. We would appreciate all delegates to please provide feedback for the conference by completing an online survey evaluation, which a link has been provided on the welcome screen in all the meeting rooms. Once again, thank you very much for attending the 33rd USAEE North America Conference, and I would like to introduce to you Diana Stairs, President of the Three Rivers Chapter.
Thank you, Tina, and good morning to everyone. I'm Diana Stairs. I run an energy center at Washington and Jefferson College, which is a small liberal arts school located south of here, about 25 miles from here. And if those of you who are going to go on the well site tour, I suspect it will be in Washington County, so you'll be very close to where I'm from, and I hope you'll think of us. It's a wonderful college, and in fact, a number of people sitting here in the room are graduates of it, including Justin Adder, who's sitting over there. But I've taken over, just in the past 2 months, the presidency of the Three Rivers chapter, and I'm here today to welcome you on behalf of the chapter. Our chapter is recently formed. About 3 years ago we formed, very much through the efforts of Ingmar Sturzing, who I think is somewhere here, but I can't see him. He had been working at Westinghouse at that point in time and was very interested in encouraging a USAEE chapter to form here. Our chapter is, as I said, it's called the Three Rivers Chapter, and what it's really meant to do is to reflect that we are a regional chapter. We pick up southwestern Pennsylvania, northern West Virginia, and eastern Ohio, which really does form a very comprehensive economic unit and an energy unit in terms of the types of activities that go on in this area. But we are very honored so early in the life of our chapter that we have been chosen to be the site for this year's USAEE Energy Conference. And we were very honored to also have the opportunity to help plan it. We wish everyone here a very productive and enjoyable conference, and I think you will find it, certainly in terms of the location, to be that. Pittsburgh is a wonderful area, the region is a wonderful area, many things to see, and we're very happy to have the opportunity to showcase the area. Now, I know all of you are anxious to move on to the substantive portion of the program, and the last thing I'm going to do before we close this welcome is introduce this very first panel, the first plenary session, which is the Dynamic Landscape Natural Gas in the United States. And I'm going to invite the 4 people to come up to the table, but just before I do that, I just want to introduce the presider, who is Ben Schlesinger. Where's Ben? There he is. Ben is the founding president of Benjamin Schlesinger and Associates in Bethesda, Maryland, and the managing director of the Galway Group in Houston, Texas. Ben is one of North America's leading independent energy consultants and specializes in gas and electricity marketing, pricing, infrastructure, trading practices, strategic planning, and power plant development worldwide. He has nearly 4 decades of experience in managing and carrying out engineering and economic analyses of complex energy issues, with a particular focus on North America, energy commodity movements and pricing, policies and programs. He holds an undergraduate degree from Dartmouth College and a master's and PhD in industrial engineering from Stanford University. And the 3 individuals who will be on his panel are Bello Kruskop, David Spiegelmeier, and Rusty Brazil. And at this time, I invite them up and I close the welcome portion of our conference. Thank you so much.